Well, what's up, prepperines? Haven't done one of these in a while. So here we are from the bunker. And tonight we're talking the draft, current events, and my favorite, the ammo shortage incoming for 2024. Because I guess there's not one right now. Anyhow, sit back. Let's talk it out.
To me like this. He said, most of the world out there is sheep. They're kind, gentle creatures that can only hurt one another by accident. He says, then there are wolves. The wolves will feed on the sheep. They're the sociopaths. They're the criminals. He says, and then there are sheepdogs. The sheep are a little leery of the sheepdog. He wanders around, checks the perimeter every night, barks at the moon. He would never turn his teeth on the flock, but he yearns for a righteous battle. And when the wolf comes around, nothing else will do, and the entire flock is sitting there trying to hide behind one lonely sheepdog as he faces down the wolves. We're talking about a creature who is capable of confronting and dealing with combat and sustaining themselves across the long haul. The goal becomes to be a sheepdog, to be a warrior, to be the one that is ready to respond to the threats when the time arises.
I love that. The sheepdog. Well, we all got to try to be the sheepdog now. The world is getting, it's going hot, man. That's kind of how I feel. And so I guess like the whole reason I'm doing this live right now is to one, see if any of y'all stop in here. And if you don't, you can catch me tomorrow on your ride to work or whenever is convenient for you. But as I see it, there's enough doomer porn out there for us to freak out about, World War III, if that's actually going to happen or not, all the Israel Hamas stuff. This channel here that's what I used to do here. I used to talk about all the current events as I saw it and how I thought, world was ending, blah, blah, blah. And I took a year off, and basically I decided that I was going to, I guess, kind of focus my passions on something that wasn't so, doom and gloomy. So that's what I did for about a year, and now I'm back. And now, prepping is still my lifestyle, so I still do that. But everything doesn't have to be doom and gloom all the time. So we can actually, just have a conversation about the events that are in front of us, but we don't have to be in fear, which is contrary to probably what the government wants, because a populace that's in fear is easily controlled. And, if you want to be a useful idiot, then go ahead and feel those feels, if you know what I mean. But something that I didn't know. So I was actually looking through some of the headlines of today, and there's this, well, here, I'll just show you here. There's this, I guess, there's a lot of talk of draft going on. Like from 4 days ago, there's multiple, military.com, whitehouse.gov stuff saying, oh no, there's not going to be a draft in 2023. Everyone is Googling that, is what that means. And apparently there was this, deep fake video of, I guess, the post millennial, if that's even a real thing. Someone came out and made this AI video of Joe Biden calling for the draft. And you can't find this thing. I've been looking for it everywhere. I can't find it. But it's funny because everywhere that you see, this type of talk, it is so slanted to, no, there's not going to be a draft in 2023. Well, that's not saying much because there is no, current conflict that we're actively engaged in. And then that word actively is, I guess, used fairly loosely because, anything we're actually engaged in that involves our money, our taxpayer money, I would say we're engaged in. That's just me. I mean, people aren't getting in trouble for being unengaged financially with foreign governments, right? So, anyways, that's kind of besides the point. But another thing I'm looking at right now, because everything is in this moment, forecasting the future. How does this stuff affect us, right? And, you know, I'm too old to be drafted. The military probably would have nothing to do with me if they saw my psych eval. And secondarily to that, uh, in about 8 months, I'm going to be, too old. Now, I'm sure they can raise the age limit, just like they did in Ukraine the first week. I think it was like males up to age 60 were being asked to fight. I'm sure they could do that if they really had to. But everything is how it affects us here. If imagine we get into World War III. So forecasting the future, things kind of look like they're going that way. And one thing I've always kind of wondered is, when World War II or even World War I was going on per se, when did they was there like a tabloid that came out that said, World War I begins? It's like you probably didn't even know that you were in a world war because it wasn't like announced, right? It's only in like looking back that you said that like multiple countries are actively engaged in war. So it's like, oh yeah, that country, this country, oh damn, that's like 12 countries. I guess that constitutes a world war. We're in a world war. So it's going to be pretty obvious when we're in a world war, I would think. But I keep thinking like, okay, so if it kicks off, like how's it going to go down? And what are things going to be like, here, right? And right out the gate, there's been all this talk about our, depleted ammo stocks, and that being one of the things that I love to do, shoot. That affects me. So I'm already like been looking through all the stores around here and stores in the state, really, because I get around. And the shelves are kind of, I'd say it's half and half, but there's definitely been an uptick, and it's pretty obvious why. Everyone kind of sees what's coming. And even if it's not going to happen, it's just like a hurricane or a tornado heading in your direction. People clean out the stores. That's what they do. So I've seen a pretty massive uptick in the area that I live. There's one store that is a pawn shop that's really just a gun store. And this dude will stack ammo boxes up to the counter. And so I go in there like, last Friday or something. Everything's stacked. And I'm looking around, get a couple boxes, walk out, talk to my neighbor about 4 days later. And he's like, oh, yeah, so-and-so's got ammo down the street. It's about halfway up. And for it to have dropped that much, like, I can't give you guys a visual here other than the fact that that's a crap load of ammo sold. Like a lot. These are big, long counters. And you can't even see the counter because it's stacked, from the floor all the way up to the top, full of ammo. So people are buying it. And this community that I live in isn't even very big. Like it's suburbs. So it's semi-decent size. Anyhow, so pulling up this article here, and let's see, where was it? Did I lose it? Okay, so this is from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. War could limit ammo supply. You think? Now this seems like, okay, October 19th. So not that old. The whole Israeli Hamas thing was already going on, and they're dropping just the fact that in 2024 the price hikes that we could see on ammo are going to be pretty significant. They go on to basically just say, we're supplying Ukraine with all their ammo. Our ammo stocks are reaching the bottom, supposedly. Why you would publicly admit that seems like a feign. You're feigning weakness. There's no way that that is 100% accurate. Um, it's probably just what we want them to think. But let's just say that's what they want us to think. Well, they're going to dedicate the supply of ammo, obviously, to whatever our priorities are. And if things kick off over there, then so be it, man. It's going to happen. And these suppliers are going to have military contracts. And whether or not there's a shortage or not, there's going to be a price hike. I mean, it's supply demand. It's basic capitalism here, folks. So the brands that they label here are Federal, CCI, Spear, Heavy Metal, Bushnell, Butler Creek, Hops, Remington, and Remington, which owns a large ammunition plant at Lanoke. I was talking to a friend the other day and saying that I think it's a manufacturer called Lake City that just got shut down. He said it was because of the current administration. I don't know if any of this is true or not, but he said that it supplies 30% of, the ammo to everyday citizens like you and me. Now, if that were true, I would imagine that would have been one of the first things that came up, when I Googled it. For that to be insider information, not seeing it. But it goes on to say, in December 2022, Czechoslovak Group also acquired 70% of the Fiochi, which in November 22 announced plans to build firearms primer manufacturing facility in Little Rock. Yeah, it's one of only 6 primer manufacturing facilities in the United States and is also the world's only source for lead-free primers. Now, I reload, and I can tell you that I've been on the hunt for primers since right before the whole pandemic started. And they were available then in bricks, and now, well, not now, but then about like a year into the thing, I mean, they dried it up like that. Like no one was trying to get rid of them. And then I'd say probably 2022, I started to see boxes put out, and actually went to Cabela's and got a couple boxes, dried up again. 8 months later, was talking to an employee there, and he goes, yeah, it's like every 6 months we get sent 4 or 5 bricks and they disappear like that. And so I just happened to be there at the right time, bought a brick. And that was the last time I have seen a primer on a shelf anywhere. And anyone I talk to, no one has a beat on these things. So yeah, sucks. I mean, it's not like I have any time to actually reload anyways, because multiple little ones around here take that time. So yeah, basically KISS primers, goodbye. KISS reloading, potentially goodbye, is what I'm feeling like is in the future for me. And then, looking at the ammo prices, they're not great. What I'm seeing basically everywhere is, 223s, 50 cents a round. Some places have it as cheap as 40 cents a round. That's about the best I've found. I don't roll 300 blackout. There's a lot of 6.5 Creedmoor I've seen on the shelves, which I think is the military's new round, which expect that to dry up too, I suppose. Of course, 9mm. I mean, everything's going to start disappearing. I think, if history has taught us anything, we weren't even in a war. But when the pandemic started, the only thing I could see on the shelves was shot. That's it. Shotgun loads, and that's it. And the price on those things, I was like, I'm not spending that much money for shotgun shells. And then eventually I did. So right now, I would suggest going and getting some ammo. That's going to be the first thing to start to dry up. Whether or not there's actually going to be an ammo shortage, that's the first thing that everyone's brain goes to, right? That's what I'm thinking about. And so it's probably going to be its own, what do they call that? Premeditated prophecy, self fulfilled prophecy or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. Anyhow, also started looking into things I was just curious about, right? So with these current events going on, everyone is looking into ammo, and people are Googling the hell out of, will there be a draft? And so, um, there's a deep fake about Biden announcing a draft 5 days ago that ended up not being real. But everyone's kind of going this way with what they think is going to happen. And I understand right now that the United States military, uh, the administration in control of it at least, is trying to limit what Israel is doing as far as their invasion into Gaza. And it makes sense that, yeah, we got people there and we need to get them out before you unleash hell on, Hamas. Sure, makes perfect sense. But it's also funny that, the Muslim world over there is flipping out that Biden goes to go visit over there, and Biden at the same time is like, hey man, no, don't worry about it. Don't look at it as support. It's like, are you kidding me, man? Like the message is out of the White House. You need some cryptic decoder ring to figure out what the hell is actually going on. I swear. So the so this is from AP. So the U.S. isn't planning to order young men to enlist in the military, despite claims made online. And this is all the while they're down, I think, was it 15? Let's pull it up. 15,000 recruits. So this says here, blah, blah, blah. The United States military is one of the largest, strongest militaries in the world. Yeah, you think? However, with such a large and powerful military comes controversy with its personnel and policies, which we've been seeing, for a while now. One of these controversial topics involves the draft. In an event of a military draft, the debate continues if there should be women included in the said draft, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find here where they talk about the numbers, which I pulled up. Let's see, fact checked. Okay, yeah, so this is from, oh God, San Francisco Bayview. Well, regardless, rumors of World War III, Biden's actions hint at a military draft on the horizon. So it's like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. Everyone's kind of smelling this in the air. But, so I'm trying to remember too, I seem to remember something in the news back in, I think it was August, where there was some selective service registration if you were using financial aid for school. And everyone was like, because of the Ukraine thing, was like, oh, there's going to be a draft. There's going to be a draft. And they squashed it, right? And things, things over there are worrisome for sure. Everyone's been worrying about those, but I wasn't actually ever worried about it per se. Here, didn't seem like we wanted to get involved. It still doesn't seem that way. And to be completely honest, it almost feels like they are like the forgotten child right now. Okay, here it is. So in July, no. Okay. The Pentagon has reported that the U.S. Army is predicted to be 15,000 recruits short of its 65,000 recruitment target at the end of the year. I mean, given that there's 1.2 million members of the armed services, I mean, 15,000 isn't much, but at the same time, well, that's just the Army. The Navy is 10,000 recruits short of its 38,000 recruitment goal. Air Force, 3,000. I mean, I think what we're seeing here is probably, the sign of the times. Pentagon also reports that the suicide rate for veterans is at 16.8, dying every day. Yeah. So, anyways, you know, think about that. Think about that too. It's like with everything that could happen in the world, we end up going to war and this thing goes, full hot. There's some attack on us where we have to respond. I mean, we already got people over there in the area. And if they go hot, they're going to have to get changed out. It's how it happens. And everyone's been saying that they think that this thing is going to be long and bloody, which, I don't know too many wars that are short. Like even this Israel, Hamas thing is just a part of the larger, like, what do they call it? The 7-day war. And we've been in the 7th day of it since like 1940 something. I'm not a history buff, but might have that wrong. So if this thing goes on for a long time, we're going to have to constantly be changing out our forces. And with these, lack of enrollment rates, to say that there's not going to be a draft, there's multiple articles if you Google it that says there's not going to be a draft now, there's not going to be a draft next year, and they're probably all correct. But does that mean if things go hot that there's not going to be a draft in 2025? Who's to say? But I mean, it doesn't seem like that would be sustainable to me. Not to mention, we're going to take casualties. That's going to happen any war, right? So we're going to have to be refreshing our troops, and we'll be taking casualties, and no one wants to join the freaking military. And, another part of this too that I think I can stand behind is like, how long have we been in war? Like there's always 3 stages of war that every country is going through. You're either in war, you're preparing for war, or you're recovering from war. And I think I have another video out called Are We Rome? Based off a famous book where I kind of talk about that, the parallels with us to Rome. And it's like we are in this overlap where we are kind of in all 3 phases of that. We're in war, supplying wars, right? With actual ammo and weapons and personnel to train and God knows what else we don't know about. We're recovering from the whole debacle in the Middle East with Afghanistan and Iraq, that pullout. And now it would appear that we're spinning up to get into another conflict. And it does make you wonder if the fact that they're telling Israel to chill is not just for, the hostages that we're still trying to get out of that territory. So I don't know. Time never seems to be on our side with these type of things. But, I think it's Janet Yellen seems to believe that we can fund 2 wars. But that doesn't mean that our ammo stocks can. And if they can, then great. I know with the last administration, when Trump was in office, he spoke about how when he got in that the ammo was depleted and it was gone or whatever, and he built it back up. I mean, he built it back up for what? So this could happen and it's depleted again? Maybe. I don't know. So when it comes to how this thing affects us here back at home, right off the bat, that's where my mind goes. Goes to ammo, goes to, I guess, next thing is like the economy. War's historically been great for economies. But I was thinking about this the other day, with us being consumers as a nation and importing everything from either China or wherever, right? Like, how do you think that's going to go down? That's a deep dive there. It's not going to go down good. That's for sure. I mean, we're talking everything, absolutely everything. And like telephones, computers, anything technical too, right? Anything with a microchip in it, that'll be the next thing that happens. And that's something that I was thinking about too is there's all these parallels to what's happening right now, which leads me to believe that there's a true shitstorm headed our way. Um, but it's like every larger nation that had ties to this littler, newer nation that they still feel like it's like an ex-girlfriend, right? They never really cut ties. They still got feelings for them. They want them back. And the ex is like, no, 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 we're doing our own thing now. And so you see Russia go back over after Ukraine, after the US started playing grab ass with it. You're seeing, I mean, the whole Israel and that thing has been going on forever. And their fight is I think over, obviously you throw religion into it and it gets messy. But it seems like, they both believe that they should have this land. And I don't even want to get into any of that. I'm not knowledgeable enough on that stuff over there to really speak about it, so I'm not gonna. But then another parallel is the whole China-Taiwan thing. So it's like, if that goes down, there is this land grab of these areas that people think they should be in control of, governments think they should be in control of. And we're on number 2 now, right? We're on number 2. If that third one goes, it's going to be, that's it, right? That is it. So anyways, I think it's pretty much just me talking to myself. Oh, no, we got people in here. So no drafts, thank you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think it was Black Scout Survival was talking the other day about the fact that like, would I go? And he answered it basically in terms of no. I mean, he's already done military service, right? So God bless him for that. I have not done military service, but I just don't believe in what we're doing right now. Like, and as of right now, it's October 24th. We're still playing World Police right now. Someone else brought up something good today that I was, listening to, of like, right when this thing kicks off, we send a destroyer group, a battle group over there, right? And now there's a second one there. And, granted, like, I don't have all the information to know why we did what, but it's like right when it kicks off, we're headed right over there. And already, saying things like we stand with Israel and we're willing to back them up. And sure, like, yeah, they've historically been one of our partners for a long time. But the person that was talking about this was like, it was Prepper Nation. That's who it was. He's like, why the hell are we even involved in that? Like, once again, we're playing World Police. Like, did they ask us for ammo? Did they ask us for military aid? Now, we went over there to, the story is to like all the bad actors in the area so we could cool their shit, basically. Okay. I mean, seems like that was probably a smart move since things are going a little haywire over there. But it's like, once again, man, like, we're playing World Cop going over there, and there's opinion out there that we're funding both sides of it. And it's like, if that's the case, then there's some strategic move in it for us. The thing's been reverse engineered, been played out, whatever you want to say. So I'm not for it. And now that I'm a dad, like, my kids aren't old enough to go. But if they were for this, hell no. Hell no. This is not, and then I'm saying that right now. Now, if something were to change and, we get attacked, I don't know. I don't know. Because, like, even back in 2001, the way things were spun up so that we could get everyone on board. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, there's back then it was, weapons of mass destruction and tracing down Al Qaeda, these terrorist organizations. And it's like these things just grow roots and they come up. It's because they're tied to religious beliefs. You can't kill a religious belief. You can't. And then the guerrilla warfare tactics make it super bloody. And a lot of people died for what? So that we could pull out of there, after 20 years, leave all this crap behind and arm even more. It's just, no, I'm not for it. And I think too, being a male, when you're a teenager, you're like gung ho and ready to go. Like, yeah, no one's going to mess with us. We're number one. And as you get older, you start to see that, America, I love America. I'm all about it. I love being American. I feel blessed to be here. But, we are definitely, we got our hands in too much shit. And we're trying to play World Cup when what we need to be doing is working on us here back home. And now, I don't see that happening. From a financial perspective of just running a business, we are super in debt. And now we're getting into conflicts and funding all kinds of crap that we shouldn't even be in. And let's say with the election coming up that there's a new administration that comes in. What are they going to do? You think they can just back out of stuff? Strategically, I don't know how that plays out. These are questions, these are things I think about. Like the next guy, even if he's, right leaning, strategically, can he back out? At this point, when they get in there, they have a crystal ball of intel that can semi-forecast the future for what their next move should be. And if they do this, X, if they do that, Y, right? So it's like the next guy who gets in there, you can't just stop a moving snowball headed down the mountain. That's my perspective. Could be wrong. Let's see here. Northern Girl Hobbies in the house. Haven't talked to you in forever. We all get drafted. Things will not be good for USA and Canada. Well, things will not be good, period. But yeah, I don't know. So, we talked about ammo, talked about the draft, talked about military enrollment rates, and then the economy. And, I'm just trying to forecast, what does this mean for us if it goes hot? Not being a economic scholar myself, only on the receiving end of the ass kicking that is inflation, as far as my scholarly skills go. But this already sucks as it is. So if we start funding more wars overseas and then have to start producing here, I wonder how that's gonna go down. Because that's the other thing too, is the drive, the normal American drive to work has been killed, I feel like, since COVID. Never saw people so happy to stay home, to work from home and get drunk. Because that's what was, look at the liquor sales, look at the marijuana sales in states where that's legal, through the roof. And then you had a lot of ended marriages. Sure, there's a lot of domestic violence going on. And people don't want to go back. They don't want to go back to work now. They're talking, I listen to the news in the morning where they're talking about employers are starting to want to at least bring people back in for a check-in. You badge in, you have a little morning meeting and then you go back, and people are not wanting to do that. And it's the work ethic here in the United States right now is crap. There's a reason why we're not an exporter in the world, for more reasons than one, but a large one is I don't even know if we could be. The output of the average American right now, their mental health went to crap after the pandemic, and that's not just something that you recover from overnight. So Northern Girl Hobby says we're already infiltrated. Yeah, we sure are. It's funny how the whole border thing ends up coming to fruition anyhow. And with all the people that I try to look at things through multiple different lenses, because like anything that you're hearing on the news, for having it frame your perspective, it could frame your perspective right now, but it shouldn't be framing your total perspective, which most people know, because the news is crap. It's only a sliver of the truth. But I do wonder, I'm like, are we strategically bringing these people in? And like, granted, it's not just Mexicans. This is people from all over the world coming in through the southern border. And I start to think sometimes too, I'm like, is this for a reason? Like, do they know with AI, right? And every government has their own AI bot that's, I'm sure like downloaded with the latest military intelligence and intel from all over the world. And if it has a forecast for what's to happen, it's going to obviously offer advice for what we should do. And I wonder if it's not a strategic move to bring in all these, immigrants from over the border for whatever reason. There's a reason why they're handing out phones to them. And I think that's probably not very clear to anybody right now. It makes zero sense to me, but it's for a reason, whether nefarious or useful. I don't know. Anyways, I kind of got on here as a whim. I haven't done this in a super long time. Feels like something I should probably do more often, covering the recent events. Oh, also heard too that with us, trying to halt the Israeli invasion so we can get our people out, that we were told, no, we're going to proceed with it. Now, I haven't heard that anywhere, so I don't know if that's true. But it's like, who are we to tell another nation to not go get theirs, like their revenge? There's no way that it's not going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. I think it's just how it happens. And right now it's probably the United States making very clear to, with its intel, it's like, if this goes on, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And we're probably going to end up in a WW3 type scenario or something like that. So, get our news from YouTube. Quite honestly, haven't had a TV in years. Smart. I still check in because I want to know what they want me to think. Like, I want to hear the lies that they want me to believe. Because you have to know that there's at least, I don't know, let's throw out a number. There's at least probably 30% of people who are seeing that are like taking it as absolute fact and basing their next moves of life. There's people that just need to be told what to do, what to think. You take 10 people, right? Probably going to get 2 people that can think for themselves, another 2 people that can kind of think for themselves, kind of need to be told what to do. You're going to get 1 person that doesn't listen at all to anything you tell them to do. And then the other, 4 people that need to be told exactly what to do and what to think and how they should feel. And so that's why I tune in. I tune in because I'm like, some people are going to be taking this as like scripture, for what they should believe and how they should live their lives. We saw that too during the whole thing that just happened. So that's probably going to happen. Something like that's happening right now and probably going to happen again. Anyways, I am going to call it a night. Get off of here. Northern Girl Hobbies and L. Special people here tonight. Thank you for stopping by and joining in. Time to hit the sack. So we'll see you guys next time.